On Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout powered by Dell. We're looking ahead to the game between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Rajasthan Royals. Joining me shortly, Tom, Moody and Ian Bishop. Right, gentlemen, you know the drill. Massive 2 points for both teams, looking at how things are shaping up as we enter the last couple of weeks of the league phase. Let's go to statement number one, Bish. Sanju Samson needs to find a way to fire again, is what we're saying.
Oh, definitely. Sanju in Sharjah in the first two games was what we all hoped and expected of Sanju Samson over the years. Where we've had the problem is finding consistency from him. And if this Rajasthan Royals team are to fire in this tournament, they don't only need the overseas players, but they need Sanju Samson to be back amongst the runs.
They put him back at 3, Tom. You'd think that's a good move. But how do you get a player to find his form back after he started the tournament and seems to have lost it?
Yeah, well, in my view, form and consistency comes with a method that is understood. And what worries me with Sanju Samson is not his ability. He's clearly an outstanding talent, but I think he needs to understand his method on how he's going about his batting. And I think that is his biggest challenge, is working out what his brand is and being consistent with presenting that brand every time he walks out to bat. There needs to be a method.
All right, let's go to our next statement. And Tom Moody was paid $1 million a year to make these sort of calls. We're saying, Tom, that Hyderabad should stick with Manish Pandey at 3.
Oh, I wish it was $1 million. I'll tell you what, 1 million rupee. Yeah, look, that's a no-brainer for me. Manish Pandey showed last season in the IPL that the 3 position is the sweet spot for him. And yes, a player needs to be flexible. He needs to understand that, if the team requires him to move up and or down the order, they need to be able to adapt both technically and mentally. But Manish Pandey for Sunrisers, if Sunrisers have got any sort of hope in sort of qualifying in this year's IPL, he needs to be firing at 3 and he needs to be doing it consistently. He's already got 250s there, so why not stick with it?
Yeah, Bish, it did come as a surprise that they moved Priyam Garg at 3, as there were thoughts on Kane Williamson's injury, but Manish Pandey at 5. Were you surprised by that last game?
Yeah, just based on history, I don't think he seems to like it there. He was going well without getting the huge significant score, even though he got that half century of a season. So that's my disappointment with him, that he hasn't kicked on when he's gotten those starts to something more significant. But obviously, he hasn't been a failure at 3 this season, and I think he deserves to be there, only with a caveat that, Manish, if you get another start, please kick on to win a game for us.
All right, let's go to our next one. This should be a big talking point. Ben Stokes, the opener, Tom, we're saying isn't working for Rajasthan. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's not working at the moment, but what is working, I think, is the move for Jos Buttler into the middle order. I like that move. I sort of promoted that before it happened because I just feel that with their lineup, they've got a lot of opening batsmen, and I think Butler's going to prove to be a match winner in the middle. Stokes at the top, I'd stick with him purely because they've started with him. He's a world-class player. He'll find a way to score runs. And I think they like, which I also do like, that left-handed power hitter up front.
Looks like after that game against Chennai, Bish, that Buttler is going to stay put in the middle order. Would you like the idea of Stokes at the top like Tom does?
I more like the idea of Buttler being there to finish a game. I don't hate the idea of Buttler opening the batting either. I think Jos is good at the top or at the bottom. One of Rajasthan's problems has been having that experience in that middle order to finish off games at the end, and Jos does that superbly. In this format, I just wonder if he does that better in this format, not 50 over World Cup finals, but this format to finish games better than Stokes does. So if Stokes can get his strike rate up to, let's say, mid-130s, 140, I think it'll be worth it.
All right, let's go to our next statement. In the event of Kane Williamson being injured, Bish, we're saying Hyderabad should play either Nabi or Jason Holder. There's another West Indian all-rounder there if you'd like to go to him.
Fabian Allen. I think we're sleeping on Fabian Allen, to be quite honest with you. We've slept on him in the Caribbean for a couple of seasons, even given for his injuries. You want to get a batsman in there. You want to get someone, and that's where Nabi might have the edge because he offers you excellent bowling, quality, control, and if they give him the right opportunity as well, he's got the experience to add valuable runs for you. But I still do feel it may be a little early for Fabian, but we're sleeping on Fabian.
All right, Tom, you know Nabi more than anyone else. It's not none of those options are like for Williamson. How would you go?
Yeah, look, I would be going with Nabi. I understand Bish's point around Fabian Allen, but I think given the way the conditions are starting to play out, where the wickets are slowing down, Mohammad Nabi has got as much experience as anyone playing in the UAE. He understands, all the surfaces there. He's been there with Afghanistan countless times. His bowling will be invaluable. And I think he's one player that can play quite well on slow turning surfaces. So his power hitting and his stewardship down the middle to back order will be really important.
All right. And that takes us nicely to our next point. We're saying that David Warner should bat in the middle order and that option should be considered a little more. Now, we don't know, Tom, if last game it was only because of the Williamson injury. But would you like to explore the idea of Warner in the middle order?
Yeah, look, my understanding was that David Warner was going to continue or certainly start in the middle order regardless of Williamson's injury. I think once they've started it, I'd be very surprised if they don't continue with it. I don't dislike it, but we've also got to respect the fact that David Warner has been arguably the best overseas opening batsman in the history of the IPL alongside Chris Gale. You're moving a very big piece of consistent performance, high strike rate from opening position to the middle. I think just looking at the balance of Sunrisers, it probably looks better with him batting 4, whether he likes it or not.
Bish?
I'm a bit torn there because the needs of the team circumvent or usurp the needs of the individual. The individual Warner for me is my favorite opening the batting. But the needs of the team with the middle order as is would suggest that Warner, and given what he did in that last game where he almost won it, would benefit Sunrisers Hyderabad more in this composition. However, if Nabi comes in with that experience Tom talked about, he brings experience and finishing power there. So I won't complain about it because it's the needs of a team. But personally and selfishly, I'd love to see Warner at the top.
All right. Simple as that. Thank you very much, Ian Bishop, Tom Moody. Both teams seem to have a rather similar conversation around their batting and their use of their foreign players. Let's see how things shape up when the two of them meet. This was our preview to Sunrisers against Rajasthan on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.